The Uprising of 1857. Chipai Mutiny or First War of Independence, widespread but unsuccessful rebellion against British rule in India in 1857 to 59. Begun in Meerut by Indian troops, Chipais, in the service of the British East India Company, it spread to Delhi, Agra, Kanpur, and Lucknow. In India, it is often called the First War of Independence and other similar names. To regard the rebellion merely as a Chipai mutiny is to underestimate the root causes leading to it. British paramountcy, that is, the belief in British dominance in Indian political, economic, and cultural life, had been introduced in India about 1820. The British increasingly used a variety of tactics to usurp control of the Hindu princely states that were under what were called subsidiary alliances with the British. Everywhere, the old Indian aristocracy was being replaced by British officials. One notable British technique was called the Doctrine of Lapse, first perpetrated by Lord Dalhousie in the late 1840s. It involved the British prohibiting a Hindu ruler without a natural heir from adopting a successor and, after the ruler died or abdicated, annexing his land. The mutiny broke out in the Bengal army because it was only in the military sphere that Indians were organized. The pretext for revolt was the introduction of the new Enfield rifle. To load it, the Chipais had to bite off the ends of lubricated cartridges. A rumor spread among the Chipais that the grease used to lubricate the cartridges was a mixture of pigs and cow's lard. Thus, to have oral contact with it was an insult to both Muslims and Hindus. There is no conclusive evidence that either of these materials was actually used on any of the cartridges in question. However, the perception that the cartridges were tainted added to the larger suspicion that the British were trying to undermine Indian traditional society. For their part, the British did not pay enough attention to the growing level of Chipai discontent. In late March 1857, a Chipai named Mangal Pandey attacked the British officers at the military garrison in Barakpur. He was arrested and then executed by the British in early April. Later in April, Chipai troopers at Meerut refused the Enfield cartridges, and as punishment they were given long prison terms, fettered and put in jail. This punishment incensed their comrades, who rose on May 10, shot their British officers and marched to Delhi, where there were no European troops. There, the local Chipai garrison joined the Meerut men, and by nightfall, the aged pensionary Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II had been nominally restored to power by a tumultuous soldiers. The seizure of Delhi provided a focus and set the pattern for the whole mutiny, which then spread throughout northern India. With the exception of the Mughal emperor and his sons and Nana Sahib, the adopted son of the deposed Maratha Peshwa, none of the important Indian princes joined the mutineers. From the time of the mutineers' seizure of Delhi, the British operations to suppress the mutiny were divided into three parts. First came the desperate struggles at Delhi, Kanpur, and Lucknow during the summer. Then, the operations around Lucknow in the winter of 1857 to 58, directed by Sir Colin Campbell. And finally, the mopping up campaigns of Sir Hugh Grose in early 1858. Peace was officially declared on July 8, 1859. A grim feature of the mutiny was the ferocity that accompanied it. The mutineers commonly shot their British officers on rising and were responsible for massacre at Delhi, Kanpur, and elsewhere. The murder of women and children enraged the British, but in fact, some British officers began to take severe measures before they knew that any such murders had occurred. In the end of the reprisals far outweighed the original excesses. Hundreds of Sepoys were bayoneted or fired from cannons in a frenzy of British vengeance, though some British officers did protest the bloodshed. Thank you.